Alright, here we go. Hello everybody, welcome back to my series of Ninjago episode review live streams. Today we're taking a look at episode 66, The Hatching, continuing on with our episode revamps, because we've gotten caught up, we've reviewed everything that we haven't reviewed, and now we are back to doing older reviews and revamping them for the modern day. Welcome everybody joining us today. I see a bunch of familiar faces. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. It was Valentine's Day weekend. Hopefully you guys did something fun. I just kind of sat around yesterday and ate some M&Ms, so that was my day. In case you guys have not seen any of these streams, don't know how they work, let's go ahead and run through the schedule. This is what we got. We stream Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time, with an episode review and a Q&A. We will update this day by day. If there's ever a day where I cannot stream, I will let you guys know via my community tab. But normally we stream during the week with weekends off. So a couple of updates before we get started. You guys might have noticed a few changes around the channel. First things first, we got a new logo, a new banner, we got a new intro on the videos as well. In case you guys have not seen my most recent video, we basically updated a bunch of stuff. Yeah, slow mode's back up. It fixed itself. YouTube has rectified that, and now we are good to go. So, at least I think so on my end. Oh, you made brownies? Nice. Yeah, brownies sound good right about now. No, I had some M&Ms and sat around and I forgot what I watched yesterday. I think I watched Cars on Disney Plus, which was fun to revisit. Haven't seen that since I was a small child, so it was fun. Yeah, thanks for all the compliments of the new logo. I really like it too. It's nice and blue. Blue's my favorite color, and it fits with like the winter theme because the entire United States is frozen over right now. It's crazy. Everybody's getting snow. Even the folks that don't have snow usually are getting snow. So, up here in Wisconsin, we get snow pretty much all day every day. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to this. We're going to run down this episode and break it down, talk about the good and the bad. We will let the episode pictures run in the background as we break down the plot, talk about the good, the bad, and finally give it a score out of 10. We will totally be comparing the modern score with my original score. I gave it a score way back when I reviewed this episode first in 2017, a long time ago, 4 years ago now. It's crazy to think about. But yeah, we will be comparing the scores after it's all said and done. Yeah, happy late Valentine's Day to everybody. How was my weekend? It was meh, if we're being honest. I got a couple of new figures though. If you guys have been following my Instagram, you can check out which ones I got. Mainly anime and Transformers related stuff. But yeah, let's get into it. We can talk more about random stuffs when we get to the Q&A section. Let's get through this episode review first. I don't have a lot to say about this episode, so let's get to it. The episode begins with the Ninja and Wu kind of recuperating at the Temple of Air Jitsu after their battle with Acronix in the previous episode. Wu begins to tell the tale of the Time Twins, Acronix and Crux. Basically, they have a huge history with the Ninjago Ninja, the Elemental Alliance, whatever you want to call them, the original Ninja, if you will. They've got a huge history with them. Acronix and Crux were part of the Serpentine War, and they were Elemental Masters fighting for the side of good. Eventually, because of their power, they suddenly decided, you know what? We have the most powerful element, that being time. We deserve to rule Ninjago, and as such, they started a revolution, which obviously was not fun for anybody involved. The Elemental Masters did their best to fight them, but ultimately they couldn't really combat the powers of time. So what they did, Wu and Garmadon, they had a couple of blades, I guess, crafted out of chronosteel, the material that can absorb powers, those of course being the time blades. We find out later that Ray and Maya designed these things, and Wu and Garmadon promptly used these to steal Acronix and Crux's powers, open a time vortex, and send those blades through. And Acronix and Crux, not wanting to give up and not wanting to admit defeat, jumped through the portal as well, and we find out that Acronix popped out 40 years later, which is the battle that we just saw in the last episode. So interesting stuff here. We get to see a little bit more of the history between Acronix and Crux and the Elemental Masters. Very cool. I really like the backstory provided in this season so far, especially with the Serpentine War. That's probably one of my favorite eras throughout Ninjago, and the more information that we can get on that, the better. It's always fun. Yeah, we do see Jay's mom. I don't know if she has an official name. I think we've talked about this on the stream before, but I don't know if she has an official name just yet. So, but yeah, Jay's mom. Yeah, I really enjoy Garmadon and Wu's battle. Absolutely. We'll talk more about that once I get into the goods and the bads. Continuing on with the plot, Wu promptly passes out after that story, and the ninja don't really know what to do. After that, there's really nothing to do. At this point, they think Achronix has long since been disintegrated, and they really don't, know what to do. The temple still needs unpacking, though, which they reluctantly kind of do. You guys know how doing chores is. I kind of put things off as well, especially during the weekend when I don't really have anything to do. I just kind of stand around and putz around and just do whatever, basically what the ninja are doing. Jay and Nia decide to hang out, though. They kind of unbox her Samurai X stuff, prepare to ship it out to the Samurai X cave, and we get another little foreshadowing moment between the Samurai X and the new Samurai X that will be popping up later in this season. Yeah, I've seen Libby, Liber, I have no idea. I know that that's been a name that's been thrown around a lot for Jay's mom, but I don't think we've had that confirmed by an official source just yet. Yeah, I saw that too. They mistakenly called the Master of Earth the Master of Metal. Just one of those continuity errors in Ninjago. There's a couple of those. Not every TV show is perfect. Let's continue. Meanwhile, in the city, Borg is revealing his new Borg watch. It's a watch, but it's Borg themed, I suppose. That makes it different. Whatever works. I kind of fail to see the importance of a Borg watch, kind of like an Apple Watch. Never really saw the importance of that. So Borg's unveiling that, but he's harassed by a samurai, a mysterious snake-like samurai, which we soon find out to be a Vermilion. So very interesting. Achronix and Crux have also taken up shop in Ninjago City, and they're kind of spying on the samurai as he attacks Borg and whatnot. So Borg is very important to the overall plan of Achronix and Crux after they had officially reunited at the end of the last episode. So we will see what that correlates to later on. The ninjas see this commotion on the news and decide to quickly race to Ninjago City using the Ultra Stealth Raider, I believe is what it's called, the Ultrasonic Raider remake, before the Legacy Ultrasonic Raider remake comes out. Too many Ultrasonic Raiders, I will say that. But they make it to Ninjago City rather, and they decide to do a random shuffle to see who gets to fight this weird samurai. Pixel randomly rolls dice, and Kai gets up first, and Kai runs in there all confident like, and then he promptly gets defeated. So way to go, Kai. Zane's next up on the list. He tries, but unfortunately he can't really do much about the samurai either, and the ninja just decide, you know what, let's just team up and fight this thing. So the ninja team up. Cole decides to use his RX powers on the thing, trying to activate his Earth Punch, trying to get a little bit more control over that, and the snake samurai warrior disintegrates. So kind of scary. I mean, if I were in Cole's position, if I punched a guy and he just disintegrated, Cole will be charged with murder and be put away. But fortunately for Cole, the samurai quickly puts himself back together, and obviously he is fine because he's a Vermilion warrior. Yeah, this episode does have some pretty good stuff. Yeah, Jay's eyebrows disappear. Yeah, totally. Hands of Time has a lot of like animation errors, I suppose. Yeah, I forgot that Dareth was there. Yeah, Dareth is there too. He's putzing around at the Borg store. I totally forgot he existed, not gonna lie. Did not write him down in my notes. But eventually they do take out the Vermilion warrior using Spinjitzu, so that's fun. Unfortunately, more samurai warriors show up and decide to wreak more havoc. The ninja fight on. Zane decides to take this opportunity to rescue Borg and get him out of there. That's his primary objective, and he does. But when they enter down an alley, he meets somebody. Borg is like, oh, I didn't expect to see you here, and we don't see who it is. Zane just gets knocked out, and this mysterious person gets away. We find out later that it's Dr. Saunders, if I'm remembering correctly. So, totally expected. But yeah, Zane gets knocked out and Borg gets kidnapped. We find out that the ninja can basically use their elemental powers in tandem with each other to fight off some of these snakes. For example, Jay and Nia use their powers together. Nia uses her water to break up the snakes, and Jay uses his lightning to, I guess, electrify the snakes and, prevent their reuniting, whatever you want to call it, their reformatting or reforming, whatever you want to call it, whatever the snakes do. How many Buff Saint shirts have I sold? More than I was expecting, I will say that. The shirts are selling pretty well. I don't have an exact number off the top of my head, but it's more than I was expecting, I'd say. So thank you guys very much for the Buff Zane purchases. It means a lot. I'm glad you guys are liking the shirt. But yeah, the ninja eventually do defeat all of these Vermilion warriors for the time being, and they find Zane. He's knocked out, and Borg is nowhere to be found. Very interesting indeed. The episode ends with the Chronix and Crux retreating underground to their mysterious swamp lair, and they are working on a bigger plan. Lots of snake eggs are around in this swamp, lots of stuff's going on, and they apparently have some prisoners down there too. Very interesting, and that's where the episode comes to a close. So yeah, I'm going to take a sip of my water in the meantime. We actually do have water today. My throat just gets a little dry. All right, you're back. Water's good for you. Stay hydrated. But yeah, let's go ahead and break down the good and the bad. For good, I have here written Vermilion question mark because the Vermilion I'm kind of mixed on. Overall, I don't really care for them as villains, but in this episode they were kind of cool. Actually, I will say that they're probably the best in this episode than what they are in literally any other episode of Hands of Time. They're very, I guess, intimidating, very mysterious. We don't really know a whole lot about their backstory. I think as more and more gets revealed about them, the weaker villains that they get, they kind of think that or I kind of think that with the Vermilion they're just a little too familiar. But at this in this moment in time in this episode, we don't see a whole lot regarding their backstory. So they're kind of cool here because they're mysterious. I also really enjoy the ninja battle between them and the Vermilion. It kind of goes a little sour at first with a couple of mishaps, most notably Kai and Zane, and then Cole uses his RX power, still trying to make it work, still trying to get the hang of that thing. But eventually they do figure out how to defeat them, and it's pretty fun to watch. Also, we do get a lot of backstory regarding the Hands of Time themselves. We get their involvement with the Serpentine War, their, I guess, elemental betrayal, if you will. They betrayed the Alliance, and I really need to mention the battle between Wu, Garmadon, and the Hands of Time. Such a great battle. Of course, it's in a flashback, so it's young Wu and young Garmadon versus them, but still, very cool battle. We see them use the Time Blades as actual weapons, and I think those are really cool weapons for the time being. I thought that was super cool. Of course, once they absorb the power of time, they no longer become, I guess, viable weapons. They are too dangerous to be kept around, so they send those things through the vortex, hopefully never to be seen again. We know watching this season that they do show up again. Obviously, one of them has already appeared, and we are still waiting on the rest of them. But I thought that backstory was really cool. That battle especially was super fun to watch. Easily one of the best battles of this season, hands down. Just going to say that right off the bat. We get a little bit more, I guess, regarding a couple of hints towards future events. Like, for example, Ray and Maya are kind of teased at the end of this episode. We, of course, know that they have been imprisoned by the Hands of Time for several years now, and they have been forced to work in, basically a slave labor style, I'd suppose. They're definitely not there, by choice, so that's fun. Totally not. But yeah, we do get a couple more hints towards that, especially with the Ray and Maya setup that will be revealed later on in the season. This episode also sets up the new Samurai X. It kind of foreshadows that arrival, so I thought that was worth mentioning. It also kind of plays with the theme of Nia not knowing what she wants, whether or not she wants to be a ninja or Samurai X. You can tell that she misses being a samurai, but obviously with that, she's the water ninja now, so she needs to rest into that identity. We will see more of her acceptance of that later on in the season. Lots of setup, but I don't think it's as, I guess meh as the last episode, I'd say. This episode does a lot better job at it. In terms of bad, I only have a couple of things to say. Nothing too crazy, but I do have a couple of things. For one, I have here the Vermilion do not, I guess, get all that interesting in the future. It's not really the fault of this episode, but I just thought that was worth pointing out. They're still very mysterious, very whatever, but in the future they do kind of go downhill, I will say that. But again, that's not the fault of the episode itself here. I also want to talk about the flow of this episode. It kind of seems like they're jumping around too quickly. That is something that I pointed out as well. Kind of nitpicky, I know, but I couldn't really find like a consistent flow with this episode. They kind of jump from flashback to modern day to Chronix and Crux to the ninja back to Ninjago City. They don't really spend too much time in one place. Like even the final battle didn't really feel all that long or all that important of this episode. Just something that I noticed, nothing too crazy, nothing too big. And sometimes, even though it felt like it was jumping around, sometimes I couldn't help but think that this episode was just stretching things out just for the sake of it, especially with the whole final battle as well. I really do like that battle, but they do kind of stretch out the whole Vermilion thing a lot more. I get that they need to, I guess, express what the Vermilion are and what powers they hold, but for the most part, it felt, I guess, really, I don't know, like really stretched out and boring, I'd say, getting to know the Vermilion. But overall, I definitely don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, this episode is still very solid. Definitely better than the first episode, I'd say. As I take a sip. How did Wu and Garmadon make the vortex? Who knows? Probably just you know, they do a little bit of a dance. They do like a fusion dance, and then boom, the vortex appears. As to how they knew how to do that, I have no idea. Maybe they know how to. Maybe they know all the masters or all the elemental powers because they are, of course, sons of the first Spinjitzu master. I don't know. They somehow know how to make a vortex. But yeah, totally though. This episode was very good, very well done. Um, did I miss your thoughts on the Vermilion? Basically, just to sum up what I said about the Vermilion, I thought they had a good introduction, but they definitely get worse and worse as the season goes on. So yeah, they do a bit of a fusion dance, Wu and Garmadon, and then they make the time vortex. But yeah, this episode is still very good, I'd say. Let's go ahead and give it a final score and compare. I will give this episode a score of a 9 out of 10. Didn't really take off too many points, but as you can see, our original score from 4 years ago was an 8.5 out of 10. So we improved by half a point. Very cool. And Waffle has come in here. Hi, Waffle. You're just in time for the score. But yeah, let's see what you guys have in the chat for scores. You can kind of see my two scores there. Gave it a 9 out of 10 now, and an 8.5 back in 2017. Yeah, a lot of the ninja do not have eyebrows in this episode. I will say that's another thing that I can point out as being bad. Continuity errors and just mishaps, animation errors, more so than usual. Ninjago's always kind of had animation errors and mistakes, but this episode, it's like, wow, lots of them. Um, a C for scores. An 8, a 9, a 7, another 8, 10, a couple 10s, a 6, a 5. Um, do I think Chen had an influence on the Time Twins? I think that was confirmed. I think that Chen did have some type of influence over the Time Twins. Can't remember exactly the details, but I think that was confirmed at some point. 9 out of 10, love the fight scene between Wu and Garmadon and the Time Twins. Absolutely, that's probably one of the best parts of this episode. Probably the best, if we're being honest. 10 waffles out of 10 waffles. Waffle, you see that? You're being used as a unit of scoring. Awesome. And it's pretty mixed, I'd say. I'm seeing everywhere. I'm seeing anywhere from like 5s to 10s. So kind of mixed on this episode, I'd say. But overall, I thought this episode was pretty good. Definitely better than the first episode, I will say. As you can see, though, my score kind of changed a little bit from 2017 to now. Changed by half a point. So that's pretty much going to wrap up my modern day review of The Hatching, episode 66. I forget what the next episode's called. I'm going to have to look that up really quick. Usually I write them down, and I forgot to for some reason. Um, I'll find it. Hold on. Time of Traitors. Is that the next episode? A Time of Traitors, Season 7, Episode 3. Yeah, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. Usually I write it down, but I didn't for some reason in the notes, so my bad. We'll talk about A Time of Traitors tomorrow. Very interesting. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for my review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. In terms of the stream, though, we still got a little bit of time to fill, so why don't we jump over to Q and A, the Q's and the A's. Yeah, the brown jumpsuit, man. I forgot to mention that too. That was actually pretty funny. The commentary when Dareth was trying to fight off the Vermilion Warrior, and the Time Twins were kind of commentating over that. I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know if that would have changed the score, but I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Dareth's ninja suit isn't all that great. But yeah, in terms of Q&A stuff, we can just hang out, talk about whatever. We got some time to fill. Thoughts on ninja tubers, like other Ninjago YouTubers? I don't know. I usually keep my distance. I will say that. I've kind of been branching out a little bit though, and I've made a couple of guest appearances on some podcasts with some really cool people, a couple of smaller YouTubers. So that was fun. I recently made a community tab post talking about that, so feel free to check that out. Oh, the series. Oh, I've watched a few episodes of that. It's not my favorite thing out there. I've only maybe watched yeah, only a couple episodes of that. I think it's good though. I watched my episode obviously. I wanted to see what was said about myself. But yeah, in terms of other Ninjago YouTubers, yeah, I don't know. There's some good apples, some bad apples. It's the Ninjago community. pretty much can expect whatever. Yeah, the Ninjago Legends podcast. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Yeah, that was really fun to be on. It was fun to talk about Ninjago. We kind of hung out for like a couple of hours beforehand and just kind of talked about random stuff. So that was fun. Don't get notifications only for your streams. Yeah, YouTube notifications have been really weird. Some people get notifications, some people don't. seen the movie Chef. Yes, I have. Chef starring Jon Favreau. Really good movie. I used to meme that a lot. Where are we going to be able to watch season 14? I have no idea. Inevitably, it will be uploaded onto YouTube someday. When it comes out, I have no doubt that people will be uploading the episodes online. So be active in a couple of Discord servers, I suppose, and you'll probably see when those episodes go up. I'd recommend the big Ninjago Discord server if you want to get caught up with news regarding that. Did season 14 release? It did not. There were rumors that season 14 was going to come out sometime over the weekend. It ultimately did not, which I'm not too surprised about. Gwyneth Paltrow didn't know she was in Spider-Man. Yeah, I know. Gwyneth Paltrow is quite the interesting person. She's done a lot of stuffs. Yeah, Favreau also directed Chef. He is a really good director. Jon Favreau is probably one of my favorite directors slash actors in the industry. He's super cool. I love him in the MCU. I love him in Chef, obviously. So, nice new intro. Thank you. Yeah, in case you guys have not seen, we updated the intros for the videos, updated the channel logo as well as the banner, and overall we just made a couple of changes to the channel over the weekend, so that was fun to do. We changed it to a nice blue color. There was a leak of the Legacy Fire Dragon on Instagram, but it got taken down. It was really blurry, but the leaker said that Skylar was in it. Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly if we can trust that kind of stuff. I don't know. Until we see like an actual solid picture, I don't think we can trust just random leaks and rumors like that. If Skylar's in it, then that's cool. You know, getting a Legacy Skylar, it's about time. Is the blue for Nia or Zane? It's mainly for a couple of reasons. For one, season 15 is going to be coming out soon. I'm really excited for that underwater season, so I guess you can say it's kind of for Nia, but blue is also my favorite color by default. So I wanted to revert back to doing like a blue color scheme for the channel after having reds and orange for a long time. We switched back to blue just because blue is my favorite color, and you know, again, water season coming up. Really looking forward to that. Did I hear that season 14 is airing on Netflix when it comes out? I've seen rumors about that. I'm not sure if we have anything super specific on that, but yes, I did see rumblings of that. Gonna be doing a little bit of research regarding that later on, though. Yeah, Baby Woo is cool. I saw a comment the other day talking about how the ninja team needs a baby again, so why not just have Jay and Nia have a child, and there you go. Now you have a new baby on the team to make up for Baby Woo being gone. Because Baby Woo did a lot for the team, I will say that. Why'd I change the logo and banner? I change it every now and then. Like, I forget the last time I changed it, but we've had the reds and the orange for a long time, so I just kind of switched it up just because I felt like it mainly. Fake legacy, yeah. Fake leaks go around a lot, which is like, you know, it's kind of hard to keep up with all the leaks in the news and such. Why not just make Woo a baby again? Just reverse Baby Woo. Or reverse Woo again, so that he's a baby. That could work. What are the plans for the live streams after Hands of Time? After Hands of Time wraps up, we are going to be talking about the movie. We're going to do a stream dedicated specifically to the movie, and then we will continue on with seasons 8 and 9. We're going to be re-reviewing those episodes, but we're going to be stopping after that. Either we're going to stop streams altogether, or we will just stream something different. But with episode reviews, we are not going to go past season 9. So we will be doing seasons 8 and 9, though. Baby Clancy. Yeah, that'd be cool. I see a couple of folks asking when the Legacy shorts are coming. I do not know. I don't have an exact answer for that question. All I can tell you is sometime this year, sometime in 2021. Favorite time blade. I kind of like the reversal blade. I think that one's cool. Otherwise, the pause is pretty cool. The pause blade, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we probably won't stop streams, but what we'll do is just stream something else. You know, with episode reviews, we still got a long ways to go. We still have all the rest of Hands of Time. Then we will do the movie, then seasons 8 and 9, and then we'll stop from there. The reason why we're not going past season 9 for the episode reviews is because I feel like from March of the Oni upwards, I feel like my reviews are pretty consistent with what I do nowadays. So I don't feel like re-reviewing them or revamping them or anything like that. So. Yeah, I've seen the Four Corners video about all that kind of stuff. I'm just not sure what to make of it. His favorite ninja's parents? I mean, you can't really go wrong with any of them. I think Ed and Edna are pretty cool. Why do I talk fast? That's just kind of how I talk. Livestream moves tease review. I'm not touching that again. If you guys want to see my review for that, I made one a very, very long time ago on the channel, but we are not touching that again. Having flashbacks of Woo's tease as we speak. Baby J flashbacks. We need something with Jay's backstory, man. We need something. Building a Nexonite set. How do you feel about that? Nexonites I don't really care for too much. The Nexonite's theme as it is fine. I've only seen the first 2 episodes of the series, but I think the sets are kind of cool for the most part. Nexonites is a lot better than Chima. Yeah, we can switch over to Season 14. There we go. Season 14 backgrounds. How about Baby Zippy? That could work out. I'm going to be making a video later on talking about a theory regarding Zippy. So, I like Zippy though, the jungle dragon. I've seen a bunch of people getting those sets early, by the way, the Season 14 sets. I still have not found them. I check my local Target every so often, and I still cannot find them. So more than likely, I'm just going to have to wait until they release on March 1st, which obviously isn't that big of a deal. I was never really one to pay for sets early anyway, unless I could find them for the actual retail price. I know I could probably go on eBay right now and buy the sets early for a bunch of monies, like more increased prices and whatnot. They jump up the prices just because they're early, but I'd rather just wait. If I can find them at retail, like if I go to Target like later today or whatever and I find them, then yeah, I'll buy them there. But I can wait until the release date of March 1st. Who's Zippy? The Jungle Dragon. He has a name, and his name is Zippy. It's kind of like Chompy from Season 13, you know, Vanya's little dragon, which, speaking of that, I found that set. It was in one of my moving boxes. I found my Woo's Battle Dragon set, so that was pretty cool. I dug out a couple of moving boxes out of the closet, and hey, it was in there. I'm like, oh, how about that? So, found it. Now I'm going to part it down and use the pieces. Jay loses his pudding again in the episode. Yeah, I will say, Jay in Hands of Time has not been good so far. I will say that. Really, really awkward. When is the thumbnail vid? Soon. New stuff keeps on coming out and I have to push back uploads. Doing like a behind the scenes look at my thumbnails and how I make them. It's not too difficult to make the thumbnails. There's just like a lot of effort that goes into it because I have like 5 or 6 different thumbnails for a video and I decide the best one, you know. I make a bunch of thumbnails. I'm kind of obsessed with it and I try to make the perfect thumbnail. So the thumbnails themselves are kind of easy to make, but like deciding on which one to use is difficult. Which is better, Zippy or Chompy? Well, we haven't seen a whole lot of what Zippy can do just yet, so I'm not so sure if we can make that comparison. How's the screenplay coming along? Pretty good. We are still on track to release that thing sometime in May. Hopefully we can get that thing out for you guys. So, Zippy is a baby. I believe it. But yeah, with the screenplay that I'm working on, yeah, it's coming along. In terms of developments, we're just going through the outline, just writing scenes as my outline has written them out. So I pretty much have the entire storyline written, and we are in the process of writing scenes for it. I'd say we're probably about maybe halfway through it, but that doesn't mean that we will do. That doesn't mean that we're halfway done. We're just halfway through the writing process. So it's coming along. Having a lot of fun with it. Do I play the Ninjago video game? In terms of games, I've played a couple of them. I have played like Ninjago Nindroids on 3DS. I've played the movie video game. Have not played Shadow of Ronin. Have not touched that. So, am I in the Ninjago documentary? I don't think so. I didn't hear anything about that. I wasn't like reached out to or asked to do anything for it. So, I don't know. It might pop up somewhere. Who knows? We'll find out as we go along. From where did I get the photos of Nia and Zippy? They've been kind of all over the internet the past couple of days, especially on Twitter and Instagram. A couple of folks have been posting them. I forget which account I got them from, but yeah, you can find them easily online. When do I think you'll post a thumbnail video? It's hard to say. I mean, with my uploads, like new news keeps on coming out and stuff that I want to do keeps on getting pushed back, which of course is okay. But yeah, I don't really have an exact release date for videos because they are subject to change. Sometimes I make a video, upload it on onto the channel, and then a bunch of news comes out and we have to postpone the video. And sometimes I make a video and it's not up on the channel for like a week. So what is the thumbnail video? I want to make a video breaking down like a behind the scenes look at how I do my videos, how I do my thumbnails, and that does not really take priority for like news and other stuff. So, any uploads later today? Yes, indeed. We have 2 new uploads coming out later. So, for one, we are talking about more of what Zippy could do potentially, and another one we're going to be talking about the future of the Serpentine in Ninjago. So, um. What's better, Overlord Normal or Legacy? The normal Overlord. I really don't care for the Overlord's Legacy look. Yeah, I saw the Borg Tower mock. It's really cool. Someone made a Borg Tower mock. I saw that. Can't remember who it was, but I know somebody made it. Team Godzilla or Team Big Monkey? I'm Team Godzilla. I like the big lizard as opposed to the big monkey. Why are the ninja using their Season 11 weapons in Season 14 instead of their weapons that they have in the sets? They've been doing that for a while. It hasn't really been super consistent. The ninja in the sets don't always use the weapons that they have in the sets in the show, if that makes sense. We saw that most famously, I think, in the Ninjago movie. None of the ninjas' weapons from the sets showed up in the movie. It was really weird. But yeah, it seems like they're doing that again for Season 14. Not really too surprised. I think that their Season 11 weapons are good enough, though. So maybe we'll see Lloyd use like some type of machete or something to hack through the jungle, perhaps. How much money do I make per video? Well, YouTube doesn't really, I guess, put out stuff like you don't get paid by video. If that makes sense, you get paid per month, and they kind of accumulate all of your videos into one. So it's not like I get paid by the video. It just kind of depends on how the videos as a whole, as an entirety, just kind of depends on how they do. So, yeah, YouTube monetization is really weird. Thought Lloyd and Kai used their weapons in the movie. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't think any of the ninja used their signature weapons. Maybe for like a little bit, like in the beginning in the intros, perhaps. But after their mechs, they really don't use their weapons at all. So. I think that yeah, they use them at the beginning. I think we see Lloyd using his sword at the beginning of the movie, but for the most part, none of the ninja use their weapons, which is awkward. When was peak Ninjago? I think peak Ninjago was around 2015. I think that's when Ninjago hit its peak because you had like season 4 and season 5 in the same year, so like that's basically all you need. 2015 was one of Ninjago's best years for sure. But according to Tommy Andreasen, the peak of Ninjago is still yet to come. So I guess we'll see that in the future. Apparently, Ninjago has not yet hit its peak, which is interesting. What if Zippy turns into Nia's water dragon in season 15? That may or may not be what the theory video later on is going to be about. I think we could totally see Zippy building that up and becoming Nia's water dragon. Because when you think about it, with Zippy, if he has a bond with Nia, why would they give Nia an entirely different dragon for season 15? You would just make Zippy the water dragon and call it good from there. Maybe the jungle dragon can like mutate in some way into a water dragon. So I think Zippy will have any powers? Maybe. Right now it looks like his power is just chasing coconuts. um, Almost everything in the first trailer for the Ninjago movie was not in the movie or changed. Yeah, it's usually how it goes with trailers in general, though. Like a lot of trailers don't end up like using footage that's in the final film. That's especially true with the Marvel movies. I think the most famous example is Infinity War. A lot of the shots in the Infinity War trailer just do not appear in the final movie. So, Do I think the water dragon will be like an elemental dragon or like the OG dragons? I think there's a chance of that. I always was under the impression that maybe it could have been Nia's elemental dragon, but considering how we haven't really seen those elemental dragons anymore, like the ones that they can just spontaneously summon, I'm not so sure if we'll see that at all. I think it's more likely to be like Zippy, like upgraded, or whatever you want to call it, like evolved, I suppose. Yeah, I'm excited for Zippy. I'm really looking forward to that Jungle Dragon set. I think that dragon is super expressive in the set too. I might do a couple of modifications. I don't think I'm going to give him the wings, unless Zippy grows wings at some point in season 15, which he very much could, I suppose. He could always, grow up. Favorite novel? Probably the novel for Jurassic Park, like what the movie's based on, or Great Gatsby's pretty good too. Those are like my two favorite non-manga books, I suppose. But yeah, Jurassic Park is based off of a book, so and it's very different from the movie. The score, the score was a 9 out of 10. I always thought Zippy's design was pretty cool. I think he looks kind of derpy on the surface, but I think that's cool. He's very expressive. You can't really get a lot of expressiveness out of dragons, so especially some of the dragons with brick built heads. I think that the new dragons for this year do a fantastic job, especially the Overlord dragon. You can get a lot of expressiveness out of that thing. Would I rather have the Power Dragons or Air Jitsu come back? Honestly, if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably pick the dragons. I think they were a lot cooler as opposed to Air Jitsu. Where's roommate? She's sleeping, I think. I haven't really seen her today. Um, Thoughts on the future ninja? Like what the team will look like in the future. I think they're all going to grow up and become really old senseis, and then they're going to be training the next generation of elemental masters. Have I seen any of the Pokemon movies? I have. I like some of them, and I hate some of them. Pokemon movies are pretty hit or miss, I'd say. What I think of Dogshank? She's all right. She's cool. Does my roommate have a YouTube channel? We're working on one together. We're trying to make one. We keep on having to postpone it though because we just have other stuff happening in our lives that we need to take care of first, as opposed to making a YouTube channel or a podcast or whatever. But she wants to become a YouTuber as well. So hopefully, when that channel does eventually roll around, she can kick that off, and then she could do that too. Akita or Skylar? I'd say Skylar. When will season 14 show on TV? Could not tell you. Could not tell you. I don't really have any like insider information or anything like that. I wish I did, but I do not. I'm just not that special. Where is the Google Drive? If it's not in the description anymore, is it? Well, here I can re-add it later on. We updated all the descriptions as well for all of my videos, and I guess that changed for the live streams as well. We can put that back into the description after the stream gets done. So I'll make a note of that, and we should be able to add it back for tomorrow. So Google Drive. Hope Montgomery turns out to be Misako's maiden name. Yeah, I think there's a high chance that that's going to happen. It would make sense that that would be Lloyd's middle name then. What Ninjago character do I want to be a minifig? I think more than anything, I would love to see a Dr. Julian. We still need him. Like he's been in the series, or he's been a character since like what 2012. I know he died in between seasons 2 and 3, but he's been a character for a while. He's existed for a long time, and we still do not have a figure for him, and we need a figure for him. We need a Dr. Julian. Do I have Twitch? I do. You can find that in the description down below. I don't really stream on there too often. I can't remember the last time I streamed on Twitch, but yeah, I do have one in the description down below. Season 1 or season 2? I'd say season 1 maybe. I really like season 2's final battle though, but there's a lot of nonsense going on in season 2. Honestly, it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling that day. Yeah, we can also switch up images. We've been stuck on season 14 for a minute. Would I want Airjitsu and the dragons to come back, or do I prefer them not having them? I think it's good that the ninja don't have them. I just think it's really inconsistent with previous seasons. There are several moments, like post season 7, where I think, oh, well, an elemental dragon would be really useful here, or oh wow, they could have gotten out of this situation if they would have just used Airjitsu. I think it's cool that they're trying to make the ninja a little less overpowered, but at the same time, it just feels like really inconsistent with past seasons. Like I think the most famous example of that is Cole falling off the bounty in March of the Oni. He could have just air jitsu'd back up there and he would have been fine. But instead he just fell. How did Asphira survive for 1,000 years? Asphira is a serpentine, so I imagine serpentine can survive for much longer than humans can. Where do I think Kai got his original scar before season 8? Who's to say? Could have been like a childhood accident or something like that. Maybe he was trying to practice blacksmithing and, he got hit in the face on accident. I could totally see Kai doing that. What's the most ugly Ninjago vehicle or mech? I'd say a recent example. I do not like the Ninja tuner car from Prime Empire. I think that one looks really weird, really ugly. So, have I seen Hunter x Hunter? I have not. Favorite ice cream flavor? I'm a really basic person when it comes to ice cream. Just regular vanilla, regular chocolate. Whatever works. Honestly, like ice cream is ice cream. There's not really an ice cream flavor that I dislike. Will Ninjago end in 2023? I doubt it. I think Ninjago is going to be going on for a very long time. Yes, Kai and Neo's worst babysitter. Yeah, we get that later on in the season. In Hands of Time, we'll talk about that. Nauticon should return. I agree. Wasn't Asphira trapped by magic for eternity or something? I'm gonna be real. I don't really remember. It's been a minute since I've seen season 11. And season 11, the fire chapter at least, was kind of meh. So I kind of tuned a lot of that out. All I know is that Asphira was imprisoned. She popped back out, and she was angry. She wanted revenge, and then she got put back in prison. She got put in the same prison that Garmadon was stuck in during March the Oni. Yeah, I hope Garmadon should come back too at some point. Yeah, the Garmadon we need back. He's just kind of roaming the Ninjago wilderness. What if he's dead? What if he just died out in the woods? That'd be very sad. Garmadon just goes away and he just does not make it. Rest in peace, Garmadon. What do I think of Wusako? I do not like that ship. I think Garmadon and Misako are a lot better together. At least, Sensei Garmadon and Misako. Not like Four Arms Garmadon and Misako. I don't know. Wu and Misako, I think they would work if they were younger, but it's just really weird. It's like, oh yeah, you are my brother's wife. Let me just no, we don't do that here. We do not do that here. Chen or Nauticon? I'd say Chen is a little bit more. I think a little more cooler, a little better as a villain. I'd say, at least just my own opinion. Nauticon is still very good though, but Chen I kind of prefer just a little bit more, as opposed to Nauticon. What do I think about Morrow? Very cool character, very solid villain. Could have easily joined the ninja team if he would have stuck around, and if he would have not been sucked underwater and disintegrated. Whatever happened to Morrow. Imagine Lloyd's uncle being his stepdad. Yeah, it's just awkward. I don't think Wu is kind of in the market for a wife, if we're being honest. Will I do another ranking the seasons? Probably after season 14 or season 15 wraps up. Let's see. What's the best Ninjago set? I still prefer the movie Bounty over the Ninjago City Gardens. I've been kind of thinking about that, and I think my final decision is, yeah, I think the Bounty is a lot better than the Gardens. Just my own opinion. The Gardens is still fantastic, though. Don't get me wrong. It's absolutely amazing. But the Bounty I still think is my favorite. So I'd say the movie Bounty is probably the best Ninjago set in my own opinion. Thoughts on the Boulder Blaster set? From Legacy or the original? We can kind of talk about both. Legacy I don't think is all that bad, but I still don't really like that design. I think the original is a lot worse than the Legacy one, but Yeah, I don't know. The Boulder Blaster just isn't really a design that I like, but the set is pretty good though. And I'm still debating whether or not I want to get the X1 Charger. I really do not like the vehicle. I don't like the look of it, but I want that Golden Coal figure. So it's kind of like, well, what do I do? And Golden Coal kind of sells for like $20, $30 outside of the set as well, like on Bricklink and eBay, so who knows? Did the kitties destroy my garden set? No, they did not, but they're getting pretty close. They kind of poke around it, they sniff on it, you know, they kind of try to climb it, but they have not destroyed it just yet. If they do destroy it, I will not be very pleased. They will be in very much a timeout. So we have like this little camping chair that we put the kitties on when they're bad. It's not like enclosed or anything. It's just literally like a chair that we have out in the kitchen, and we put them in the timeout chair. And then 9 times out of 10, they just jump down immediately and walk away. And it's like, oh, all right, well, that punishment went nowhere. But sometimes they sit on the chair and go to sleep, and it's really cute. Say get the set for Golden Coal and use it for parts. Yeah, it's probably what I'm going to end up doing, but I don't want to pay $50 for it. I'm probably going to wait until the thing goes on sale or goes on clearance, and then I'll probably snag it. But yeah, I don't want it when it's full price. I don't think the X1 is worth it. Like, even the Boulder Blaster was kind of like, if the X1 was $40, then I'd probably get it. But yeah, it's 50. I'll probably buy it at some point though. Is YouTube my job? It is. It's what I get to do full time. It's fun, you know. I wake up, I do a couple of video stuffs, and then I stream, and then I continue on doing video stuffs until probably around like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then I call it quits. I work on YouTube for probably like 8, 9 hours a day, if I had to average it out, with obviously breaks in between. I don't just go straight, you know. Sometimes I have errands to run, or sometimes I need to make dinner or make a snack or something. You know, it's not like just straight 9 hours of work, but it's fun. I like doing YouTube. Some days, admittedly, it's a little bit more frustrating. Like last week, for example, I was having a really hard time recording because sometimes, like, my voice just kind of, you know, just if you guys have seen my streams, you know what my voice does. It just kind of stops working sometimes, and I was having a really hard time recording. Sometimes it's difficult, but sometimes it's enjoyable. It's pretty much like any job, I'd say. We haven't done Prime Empire in a while. Why don't we switch over to Prime Empire? Have not seen Prime Empire on this stream in a very long time, so. Favorite Legacy set? If you can count the City Gardens, then probably the City Gardens. But a Legacy set outside of that, probably Zane's Titan Mech from the new wave. Absolutely fantastic. Love that set. Spaghetti or Chinese food? Spaghetti all the way. We used to have a Chinese restaurant near myself, or near where I used to live, but every time I would eat there, I would get sick. So, kind of swore off that specific restaurant. And spaghetti is one of my favorite foods. So, next though, with a $1.99 donation, thank you very much. We're so proud of Lloyd getting a kiss by a Neko. Absolutely. Lloyd's gone farther than most of us. But yeah, I do think Lloyd and Nikita are very cute together. They deserve to be a couple as opposed to Lloyd and Harumi. I will say that. What do I think of Woo's dog? I think it's an interesting inclusion to the City Gardens set, but I don't think it's going to show up in the show at all. Do I think Prime Empire could have been better if Jay got more focus than he had? I'd say so, yeah. Jay, unfortunately, you know, he did get or fortunately, he did get a lot of focus in Prime Empire, so I don't think it's that bad as well. I think Prime Empire is pretty good, but I think Jay could have used a little bit more focus. Yeah, Akita is a wolf, but she's like the closest thing we got to like a Ninjago cat girl, so if you will. So, whose dog was just a joke between the designers. Really? I did not know that. What was the joke in question? I'm curious. Yeah, Harumi was Lloyd's first kiss, but I think Akita's kiss was a little more pure, you know? Like, she actually liked Lloyd, as opposed to Harumi, who at the time really didn't. Ultra Stealth Raider or Ultra Sonic Raider. I think the Ultra Stealth Raider is a little cooler, but I'm still not really a big fan of the Ultra Sonic Raider design as it is. I'm curious to see what this new Legacy remake is, though, because we know that we are getting an Ultra Sonic Raider Legacy set. Whether or not it's going to look better than the original, we will just have to wait and see. The joke is from his original dragon from season 5. Yeah, I know that it was in that, but is there anything else like specifically regarding that joke, or is it just like a callback? If it's just a callback, then yeah, it's just a callback. But yeah. I do not play Among Us, so I'm not really sure what the airship map is. Yeah, Among Us is never something that I got into. Why do people ship Racer 7 and Lloyd? From what I can see, it's just because they had screen time together. I never really found them to be like shippable, if that makes sense. But you know, I could see why people would ship them. It's just because they were somewhat friendly with each other. But I think it's very much more like a friendship between those two. Just my opinion. Do I play any instruments? I used to play the clarinet when I was in high school. I played clarinet for 8 years throughout my schooling career. Started in 5th grade and played it all the way up until I graduated. So, have not played it since. It's been a couple of years since then. They just included the dog in Woo's Dragon set, and they wanted the writers to include it in the show. Oh, and they never did. So it's just like a callback. Okay, that makes sense. Which weekend whip is my favorite? The Shintaro Dungeon Whip is still the best in my opinion. Curious to see what else comes out for the weekend whip or what other remixes come out for it as Ninjago goes on and on. Is Green Destiny my favorite Ninjago finale? I wouldn't say so. I think there are other Ninjago finales that are a lot better than Green Destiny, but Green Destiny is still very solid in and of itself. So that'll probably be the last episode that I review here in terms of episode reviews on these live streams. So Green Destiny is going to be the last one, I think. Yeah, we changed up the profile picture. We also changed up the banner on the channel itself, and we switched up the intro in the videos. So. Ever thought of making your own ninja gi? Yes, I have at one point. I've made a couple of just like really weird sketches of what I would love to see for a ninja costume or a ninja suit, but you know, I never like I'm not really good at like designing them like online or anything like that. I've seen people make custom minifigures, and that's just not something that I can do. So, um, what is one negative thing about the City Gardens set? Um, I guess maybe I would have loved to have seen a little bit more in terms of trees. I think it could have used a little bit more foliage, and also the back is very open. It doesn't really look great from all angles, I suppose. But overall, the set itself is phenomenal. So, I just noticed my city gardens is kind of pressed up against the ceiling, so it's kind of fallen apart. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, the top of the tower reaches all the way to my ceiling in this room where I stream, and sometimes it kind of gets pushed up against the ceiling, and it kind of starts to bend the top of the big blue tower, the ninja hideout. Favorite part of Rebooted? Probably the first couple of episodes. Those are very nostalgic, but also Zane's sacrifice is a very iconic moment from that season. Oh yeah, the back is still a lot more complete. Yeah, for sure. I'd say the Gardens is probably the best out of the city sets that we've gotten so far. I don't have the Ninjago movie city and I don't have the city docks, but from what I've seen, the Gardens is definitely the best out of those three, at least in terms of my own opinion. Um, let's switch up the pictures one more time before we end off the stream. Why don't we, since we were talking about Rebooted, why don't we just do Rebooted? We can end on season 3 pictures. Favorite elemental master? I'd say Skylar if I had to pick one that's not the ninja. Otherwise, besides Skylar, I don't know, like Neuro's cool, Shade's cool, Karloff's cool. There's not really an elemental master that I dislike. Favorite location in Ninjago? Favorite location. I really love like the snowy areas of Ninjago. Um, for example, the place where they recovered the Shuriken's device initially, that's a really cool spot in Ninjago. Otherwise, you know, Ninjago itself is still very cool. Ninjago City is awesome. But I will say I do kind of prefer the snowy areas a little more than the regular areas, or like the desert areas, if you will. I love the snowy areas in Ninjago. I don't know why. Guy in the shower is iconic. I will say that. Favorite Ninjago friendship. I think the best Ninjago friendship is probably the one between Cole and Jay. We've seen that friendship come a long way. And, in some cases, maybe they could be a little bit more than friends. Who knows? I ship them. I don't know if you guys ship them. I ship them. Um, yeah, we need more of the fluffy parkas. I do agree with that. Um, let's go ahead and switch on over to rapid fire questions. We only have a few minutes left in the stream, so why don't we go ahead and talk about just anything that I can answer in just a quick sentence or two. It's usually how we end off the streams. Just anything that I can answer, just a quick question. Like that one, for example. Ice Emperor or the Omega? I think the Omega is a little bit more of a better villain. I think Zane as the Ice Emperor is okay, but I prefer the Omega. Favorite dragons? I love Rocky from the original set of dragons. I think he's really cool. Otherwise, Shard is cool too, the Ice Dragon, because that was the only original dragon that I had as a kid. So, favorite army? The Ninjroid army. Ninjroids or the Stone Army? Which season 14 sets will I be getting? I'm going to be grabbing all of them except for the Catamaran Sea Battle. That set is useless to me. I do not want it, but I will go ahead and pick up Jungle Dragon, Jungle Chopper Bike, and the Keeper's Village. So, Bounty or Monastery? I think the Bounty is overall a much cooler base for the ninja. The Monastery is still really cool though. Thoughts on the dynamics between each of the ninja? I think they're all super good. I don't really think that the ninja have any like what do you call it, like any mismatches. I'd say all of them work well together. You could pair them up any which way, and I think that they would work perfectly. So I love all of the dynamics between all of the ninja. There's not one that I hate. Again, as I said, we've seen them teamed up every which way, and they're all really cool. They're a team, They've been together for like 10 years now. Best jungle suit? Jungle or the island? In terms of jungle, like Zukin suits, um, probably is like Cole's is cool, Zane's titanium is cool. But if you're talking about like the island suits, I think that Cole's is the best out of those. Crux or Chronix? I was always more of an Chronix fan. Yeah, you could pretty much team up whoever you want in the ninja team. Like even like random pairs, like even like stuff like Zane and Nia together. They work. We've seen them fight together in the show. They work a lot. They work really well. You could pair them up any which way. Overlord or the Omega? Gotta go with the Overlord. Favorite realm? Favorite realm. I think the first realm's cool. I'd love to see more of that. And that kind of answers the question as well. If I would like Ninjago to revisit a location, I think they should revisit the first realm. Have I watched Demon Slayer? I have. Not my favorite thing ever. I think there's better stuff out there, but I do see why people like it. Last 3 WandaVision episodes are rumored to be an hour long. Yes, we have 3 hours left in the series, and there are only 3 episodes left, so each one's probably going to be about an hour. What do I dislike about Lloyd? I don't like how Lloyd's powers are super inconsistent. I think he's the most inconsistently powered out of all of the ninja. I wish his powers were a little bit more set in stone, but I understand why they're not. Now, like after season 8 onwards, his powers are pretty consistent, but that was my big issue with Lloyd at first. Favorite villain vehicle. I like the Garmatron in the show, but I just don't like the set for it. Otherwise, the Iron Doom is cool for the Time Twins. We'll see that later on. What do I mean by inconsistent? With Lloyd's powers, well, he started out having just his green power. Then he started to tap into other elemental powers. Then he had golden power. Then he just got back down to green power, and now it's pretty consistent after that. But it was just kind of a lot of jumping around. Didn't really care for that. Let's answer one more question before we round out the stream here. We can do that. I kind of want to talk about that. Favorite female character except for Skylar. In terms of female Ninjago characters, there's a lot that I like. I think that Pixel's super cool as Samurai X. I think she's awesome. I love Akita. I love Vanya. I love Harumi. Harumi's cool. Nia's cool too, to an extent. I just think that Nia just sometimes gets a little too, I don't know how to describe it, a little too preachy, I guess. But hopefully that can all change in season 15. But otherwise, no, Ninjago has a lot of solid female characters. But Skylar is still my favorite, obviously. But yeah, that'll pretty much wrap it up for the stream here today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here. We can do the end of the stream tradition where we spam the word hug in the chat. If you guys have been here before, you know what that is. I will put it in there 3 times. How about that? Some of you guys have already started. Thank you very much. And this is our streaming schedule in case you guys still need it. We stream Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time, with an episode review and a Q&A. We will update this day by day. If there's ever a day where I cannot stream, I can't talk, I will let you guys know via my community tab. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tomorrow we will talk about A Time of Traitors, which is the third review for Hands of Time. We'll talk about that tomorrow. In the meantime, though, thanks a lot for tuning into this one. We got a couple of more videos going up on the channel today. In case you guys want to check those out, feel free. And hopefully I will see you guys all tomorrow for the next stream. Yeah, we can turn off slow mode tomorrow. We'll do that. When we spam hug. That way the chat can get super full. We'll do that tomorrow. In the meantime, though, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks a lot for being an awesome audience. Thanks for all the questions. Thanks for hanging out. And I will see you guys in the next stream. Have a